Hi guys, this is Mrs. Cerami with 5.8 day one. We're going to finish this lesson during our next class. The good news is that it's something new, and the better news is it's built off of everything we've learned in the past with quadratics. So this should be an easy transition for you. Our goal over the next 2 days is to have you graph polynomials with degrees greater than 2 using x-intercept, y-intercept, being able to find the min and max with a calculator, and also with a table, graphing the table. We're going to break that up over 2 days. So what you can see here, this is a polynomial with degree 5, but it's already in factored form. And in the past, in order to find the x-intercepts, you take each factor and you set it equal to 0. So as a review, how do we find the x-intercepts? So x-intercept, number 1, put into factor form, which it already is. And step 2, set each factor equal to 0. And that's our x-intercept because those are the values that will make our f of x or y equals 0. So in this case, we're going to set x minus 1 equal to 0. So x equals 1 and x plus 2 equals to 0, x equals negative 2. So my x-intercepts in proper form is 1, 0, and negative 2, 0. And then the y-intercept is you set x equal to 0 and solve, because as we reviewed in the past, for a y-intercept, the x-coordinate is always equal to 0. So when you set this equal to x equal to 0, in this equation here, we're going to get negative 1 cubed times 2 squared, and that is going to give us a negative 4. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 4. So again, we're going to focus on x-intercept, y-intercept, and graphing with a table today. Okay, so what you see here is our ultimate goal by the end of our lesson today and tomorrow is to be given a polynomial with a higher degree, either in factor form or standard form, and for you to create this graph. Now again, this is the same polynomial as the previous slide. Our zeros, also called roots, also called x-intercept for now. That was 1, 0, and negative 2, 0. So you can see on this graph, here's negative 1, 0, and here is going to be, negative 2, 0, and here's 1, 0. Each of these tick marks are counting by 2's because that's 10 there. Our y-intercept that we established also on the previous slide was 0, negative 4, and you can see that y-intercept there. So our goal is going to be using a table to fill in these missing pieces, which we have done too. The local min or max, this is going to be tomorrow. Okay, we're going to go slowly since it's online. So the first step is to state the zeros and y-intercept, and you're welcome to pause it here because I'm going to go through all the answers just to make sure you could do it on your own before you have homework. The zeros here, you're going to set x equal to 0. It's already in factored form, and x minus 3 equal to 0. So my x-intercepts are going to be 0 and 3. So we have 0, 0, and we have 3, 0. Remember, x-intercept, the number goes in the x-coordinate, and the y is 0. Here we have 1, 2, 3 different factors, so we're going to have 3 different x-intercepts. This guy here, negative x cubed, that's going to give me x equals 0. X minus 2, that's going to give me x equals 2. And x plus 1, that is going to give me x equals negative 1. So my x-intercepts are going to be 0, 0 in proper form, 2, 0, and negative 1, 0. When we get back to school and I ask for the x-intercepts, if you just list them, you get full credit. In pre-calculus, they're going to be a little bit more specific, and they want it in proper form, so we might as well do it from the beginning. All right, 2 more problems for you to practice. You can either pause or follow along with me. Again, here we have 1 factor, so we're going to have 1 x-intercept, so x is going to equal 1 here. Here we have only 2 factors with a variable. Yes, this is a factor, but we're not solving for x. So therefore, we only have 2 factors. So my x-intercept is going to be -3 and 1. So proper form is 1, 0, -3, 0, and 1, 0. The last part we're going to cover for today is to sketch the graph. So the first step is we're going to list the x-intercepts. So the x-intercepts here are going to be -2, 0, and 1, 0. Just set them equal to 0 and solve. So we're going to plot that, -2, 0, and 1, 0. I'm making each of these tick marks equal to 1. And the next step is to find the y-intercept, which just set, you do that by setting x equal to 0. And again, we had that in prior notes from the quadratic. So we're going to have 2 cubed times -1 squared. So that is going to give me 8 for the y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll extend it up here, 8. And we need to figure out like what direction is this all going in. So the best way to do that is with a table. So you're going to create an x, y table, either vertically or horizontally, and you're going to pick a value to the left of the x-intercept. So this is going to be -3. Now again, you're going to substitute -3 into the polynomial just like we did with quadratics, and we're going to have -1 cubed times -4 squared. So as you can see, and this is just a sketch, you don't have to have the exact number because we have the x and y intercepts for now. In pre-calc, you'll be more specific. For now, you just need to know if it's positive or negative. This is going to be negative times positive, which will give me negative, so I know that it's going to be coming from down here. And then what you're going to do is we're going to connect the points together. So now this comes up here. What comes up must come back down. But now the question is, do we go back up or do we go down? The only way to know is to pick a point on the graph for the table. So I'm going to pick 2. If you substitute 2 in there, we're going to get, and again, we're doing the positive negative chart that we've done before. We're going to get 2 plus 2 cubed, which is positive, 2 minus 1 squared, which is positive. It's going to be positive, so which means that the value is going to go back up. So this would be the graph. You're welcome to pick -1 and you'll see it's positive. You're welcome to pick 1/2 and you'll see it's positive. But these are the tricks that you can use. So again, step number 1, what do we do? Plot the x-intercept or intercepts. Step number 2, plot the y-intercept. Step number 3, use a table to graph. And again, the more you do it, the more you'll see you'll need less numbers to plug in there. There's the graph a little more precise here. And again, where you see min and max right here, we're going to be talking about that next class too much right now. We're going to sketch this graph now. And again, feel free to pause it before you have to do this on your own. It may be better off checking it and then checking your errors against mine. So first step right here, I'm going to find the x-intercept, which is -4, 0, and -1, 0. You notice I'm not solving for it and then putting the ordered pair. I'm just doing it properly from the get-go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, -4, and -1. Find the y-intercept. For y-intercept, put 0 in for x. So we're going to have 4 squared times 1, which is 16. So this is going to be way off the chart, but we know at least it's positive in this area right here. Now we need to figure out, is this graph going this way? Is it going this way? We don't know. So we're going to create an x, y, t table. So I'm going to take a point to the left of -4. We'll put -5 in. And I just want to know, is it positive or negative? Am I going, if it's negative, I start below it. If it's positive, I start above it. So for -5, we're going to get -5 plus 4. So we're going to get -1 squared, and we're going to get times -4. So that's going to give me a negative answer. Therefore, the values are negative to the left there. And now we need to know, are we going back down or are we coming back up to get to the next intercept? So pick a value like -2. If you put negative 2 in there, we're going to get 2 squared times negative 1, which again is negative. So I picked negative 2, which means the values from here to here will be consistent and they will all be negative. And then from here, the next point, we need to go to the y-intercept, so we're forced to go up here. If you want to know what to do from here, does it just stay up there or does it go back down? Well, here's the story. If it goes back down, it's going to cross the x-axis and it will have an x-intercept, so it can't go back down. So therefore, it's going to stay up. If you're not sure, put 1 in there. Put any of these values in there. If you put 1 in there, you're going to get 5 squared times 2, which is positive, and all the values will be positive. So again, this is I call an ugly sketch. So step 1, x-intercept, step 2, y-intercept, and step 3, to figure out what direction it goes in, plot the points. So here is the solution for it. As you can see, it's going up, down, up, and I use Desmos here. It's going up, down, up. All right, another example that we're going to be doing. Again, my recommendation, pretend this is seat work. Write this in your seat, pause right now, and then compare your answers with mine. And feel free at any time to message me questions. And when you post the homework, feel free to post any questions below the homework as well, as many of you have been taking advantage of. Okay, so step 1, you're going to find the x-intercept. So here we have 3 different factors, so we have 3 different x-intercepts. So we're going to have 0, 0, 3, 0, and 1, 0. So I would plot that before you find any other information. 1, 2, 3 for 3, 0, and 1, 0. The y-intercept, substitute 0 in for all those guys. You're going to get 0 times. Honestly, you don't even need to fill the rest of this in. 0 times anything is 0. However, we'll complete it so you can see it, and then you'll get 0. So this is my x-intercept and my y-intercept. So now we're going to create a table. For those of you that are not understanding the shortcuts and the direction of things, I'll do it the longer way right now, so you can just plot points in. You do not need to do all these points on the chart. To be very clear, you just really need 1 or 2 points. All right, if you plot negative 1 in, we want to know the signs of it. So we're just doing a sign chart for these 3 here. Negative 1 squared is positive. And then we're going to get negative, and then we're going to get negative, which gives me a positive. So again, this goes back to our quadratic sign charts. So where negative 1 and everything below it is going to be positive, which means above the x-axis. So we're going to be coming from above and connecting. Use the arrow. We don't know if we're going above or below here, so you're going to put in 1/2 in between 0 and 1. Again, we don't want the exact answer. We just want to know if it's positive or negative. If you put 1/2 in and square it, you'll get positive. 1/2 minus 3 is negative. 1/2 minus 1 is negative, which will give us a positive, which means all these values in between are positive. And now we're going to pick a value in between here. We'll pick 2. So if you put 2 in, again, we're just doing our sign chart. We're going to have 2 squared, which is positive. 2 minus 3 is negative, and 2 minus 1 is positive, which gives me a negative, which means these values now we're going to go negative. And we want to know now, does this go down or just go up? So pick the value of 4 or any value to the right. Again, do the sign chart. We're going to get positive, positive, positive. So we're going to continue to go up. So again, ugly sketch here. If you look at the solution, it's above, above, below, and above. So above, above, below, and above. Now, what you're going to find, and you don't have to know these facts, it's just to throw it at you, x squared is a parabola, so it's going to look like a parabola from 0. X minus 3, it's linear line, so it looks like a line, and x minus 1 is a line, so it looks like a line. So actually your graphs will look like this. You don't have to know those facts. You're going to get into those details in